Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video review, and today we're taking a look at the S.H MonsterArts Kong from Godzilla vs. Kong. This one, it's been a long time coming. And also, I know last review I said I was going to do more reviews, but then my headphones broke, so I couldn't do more reviews, but now I got new ones, and hopefully these are working fine. Now, let's get on to the big boy, the big boy himself, Kong. I forgot how I started these. I guess first impressions, he's pretty good. So far, I've had him for a day. I've heated him up, I've messed with him a bit. He's pretty okay. Mine has some issues. I think it might just be mine though. So for starters, one of the heads is really loose. One of his arms, his left arm, likes to pop off really easily. And one of his feetsies, his left feetsy, likes to fall off very easily too. Not as easily as the arm, but easily. As for looks, he's not accurate. I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it one bit. He's not accurate to what you see in the film entirely. I think body-wise, the proportions spot on. But the face, there goes the hand. Give me a second. Just gotta pop this back on. The face is definitely not accurate. And his other face is better, I would say. It's kind of hard to see there because of the lighting situation. I think this head is definitely better, but it's still not entirely accurate. Does that make this whole thing bad? I would say not entirely. I think you can still pretty easily recognize this as Kong, a lot easier than on other figures that are less accurate. Especially with this face, I feel like this face is a lot closer. It's mainly just his roaring face, which feels less accurate. His, I guess, neutral face, I think, is pretty good. It's pretty close to spot on. And it's my preferred face, though getting him in poses with this face is a bit odd, just because he's really expressionless. So you can't really have him in an attacking pose because he's just gonna look like he's done with life. Now, while we're on the topic of the heads, these have been suffering from quite a bit of quality control issues. A lot of eyes, which you probably won't be able to even see. Yeah, probably not. Are really messed up paint-wise. You know, you got eyes looking off way to the left, and then the other one is looking straight. On mine, yeah, they're both kind of messed up, honestly. I've seen some that are pretty good, but a lot of the other ones I've seen are pretty bad. And while we're on the topic of quality control, this guy has reported a lot of quality control issues. A lot of loose joints, a lot of joints that break easily, a lot of super tight joints. Someone got their Kong and didn't even have an axe. The paint for the axe really isn't that great on the axe head. The rest of it is pretty good, actually. It's not that bad. The scales could have had a bit more paint to them, you know, maybe some gray thrown in there, but overall it's pretty good. It's just the axe head. Some I've seen that look pretty good, others don't. I think mine looks pretty bad. Barely even has any metallic paint on it. Doesn't look nearly as good as the promos. But yeah, he's kind of a mixed bag. Let's take a look at his articulation. So, mine's still a little bit stiff. I did my best to try and get him to loosen up a bit, but didn't really get the best. That's him looking all the way up. I'm pretty... Oh no, he can look a little bit more up. It looks a bit weird though, but... You know, close enough. Oh no, he's falling apart on me. This is the super loose head. His front-facing head, and this is the super loose arm. I just put some super glue earlier, right before I started the review, on the joint to thicken it up a little bit, but it didn't really seem to work, so that kind of sucks. Arms can go out a decent bit. That's about as much as I can get. So yeah, that's pretty decent. He doesn't really seem to have a bicep rotation joint. Well, he does have it. It just doesn't work on mine. But he has a ball joint in the shoulder, I think. So that kind of makes up for it. So that rotates all the way around. I'm not gonna mess with this one. His elbows work pretty well. I think they're double jointed. Maybe not actually. That's about as much as I can get. But down they can go quite a bit down. And then his hand is on a ball joint, so you can get all the way around, up and down. His chest joint is really odd because I believe the joint is in this piece, and this middle piece is actually separate and just kind of floats there. Then the other barbell or ball joint connects into this, so there's like a big stick going in between these, and this is just empty. So it's a little bit awkward to handle, but overall it's not the worst thing in the world. That's all the way back. He can go forward a decent bit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me just bring him back. Oh no, wait, hold on. No, yeah, bring him back. And he can rotate, kind of. Mine's not really wanting to. There we go. You can see he's not really wanting to rotate on me. It's really hard to find a place to grab him. They got a bit more of a rotation there. So that's kind of tough to move. And I really don't want to force it just because, again, I've seen quite a few people say they've broken their figures. The waist, there is a joint there. I could not get it to move even after heating this thing up. And that's one of the places, more common places that I've seen broken, so I'm just not going to mess with that at all. Legs can go up a fair bit. That's actually pretty good. I think we can go farther, but I don't want to push it. They can go back that far. They can rotate all the way, probably. You got your knee joint, which is really good. The feet are kind of weird, but they move. That's all the way forward, all the way up. Ooh, wow, that's really good all the way back. And his toes here are all ball joints. So that's mainly all the articulation. The key places you want to be careful with on this guy are the waist and the hips. Those are the two places that I've seen break on other people's figures. But yeah, articulation pretty solid. I've seen people pull off much better poses with this guy online, but I really don't want to push it because I feel like this guy might break, and he was kind of expensive. So yeah, let's see. I'm trying to get him to stand up how I want him to, but he's like not cooperating. Good enough. Seriously? What are you doing? I'm trying to like get him properly standing so he's not wobbly. You already saw one of his accessories, well, two of his accessories actually. He's got his two different heads, you know, roaring and open mouth. Wait, no, that's the same one. Roaring and stern, closed mouth, I guess you could say. And he's got his axe. On top of that, he actually has quite a bit more. Oh, Jesus. Which is surprising for MonsterArts because they never give you accessories. So he has holding hands. He has one for each side. As you can see, here is the left. He has his punching hands, which is that one. And this one... he has open hands, which look a bit weird to me. I feel the fingers are a bit too skinny. We can attach that one just on this side, just so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, there you go. Oh, and his hand fell out. Jeebus. There we go. It's not on properly. It's gonna fall off, but whatever. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. I hadn't actually tried them on before. I'm just gonna switch his face because I like the other one better. There we go. Again, he has two of those, one for each side, and he also... my goodness. Jesus. He also has... oh, give me a second. I can do this, I swear. Nope. Come on. My goodness. Work with me. Work. Good enough. Oh, never mind. Stop fighting it. There we go. Now it's properly on. Boop. He has knuckle walking hands, which I was actually surprised of because the figure was announced before the movie came out, and everyone was like, "Wait, why does he have knuckle walking hands?" And then a teaser came out with him walking on his knuckles, which is really nice. You know, that's a nice accessory to include. I'm not gonna pose him like that because I really don't want to deal with his arm falling off. So I'm just gonna get his fist back on and put his arm back on, and I guess now it's time for size comparisons. I don't have a ruler. I forgot where I left it. I believe this guy is like 5.7 inches tall according to Tamashi, but basically he's on the smaller side. So I'll go ahead and start with his not wave mate because I kind of destroyed him. You'll see why in a minute. But here is the 2019 mold, which is better. Anyways, actually hadn't posted them together either. But that's pretty good. Oh my goodness. Kong, man. Why are you doing this to me? Let's see. I'm gonna try and stand him a bit better, or try and ground him, because he is just not wanting to work with me. Alright, sure, hopefully this works. So, according to official stats, Godzilla is like 393 meters, feet tall. Kong is like 350 something. So I guess this would be technically pretty close to accurate to their official stats, but in the film they're practically like the same height, which doesn't really work here, but I think for the figures it does, kind of. I think while Kong is short, his beefiness definitely makes up for it. So I think this is, while I would have preferred it to be taller, good enough. Here it is with my custom S.H MonsterArts Godzilla. So I took the Godzilla 2021 MonsterArts figure, I took it apart, took all the joints out, and put them in this thing, in the NECA, And now I have a superposable NECA, which I think looks better than the MonsterArts, for the most part. Open your mouth. So I think the NECA would be a bit shorter than this. This guy does have a bit of a height difference than when he was just the NECA. So the NECA, you know, for those who have the NECA and don't want MonsterArts, is like about here maybe. Like, it's only a smidge shorter, or this guy's a smidge smaller, I guess. Next up we got the Playmates Skull Crawler. This one is definitely not accurate. This Skull Crawler is way too big for this Kong. This figure is massive compared to Kong, honestly. Like, as you can see, that's the tail alone. If I take the tail out, you still have a lot of Skull Crawler left over. So those two aren't really gonna match up too well. But I mean, they kind of work together. If you repaint or get someone to repaint the Skull Crawler for you, it'll definitely work a lot nicer. But it kind of sort of works. You can pretend this is like the really, really big one. And for the final comparison, maybe, here it is with the Peter Jackson King Kong from MonsterArts as well. Trying to get this guy to stand properly because he's also giving me issues now. Never did until now, but you know, apes together strong, I guess. Seriously? So, as you can see, this guy, Peter Jackson, is quite a bit bigger. He's a really nice figure. I'm not sure which one I prefer over the two. Both are pretty good. He has more accessories, I think. Peter Jackson one. He has 3 alternate heads. I think he has the same amount of hands. And he has an extra hand with an arrow. And he comes with a stick. That's pretty good. Sadly, he can't hold Kong's axe, but if you use one of Kong's holding hands on this guy, it actually does work. You can't swap him out. You'd need to change the color, obviously, but he can hold the axe that way. Now, personally, I think I prefer this one by just a little bit, just because I prefer the design, and it's bigger, so it kind of matches with my Godzilla a little bit better. But this guy's a pretty solid option too. Yeah, let's gonna get this guy out of the way and wrap up because we've been going for almost 20 minutes. Now, is this guy worth getting? Honestly, despite how many issues he seems to have, you know, I think this guy is worth it. He's only $64 MSRP. So if you can find him for that much, definitely pick it up. A lot of places have been putting his price up, like Big Bad Toy Store. He was originally 67 there. Now he's 77 if you order him, and he probably won't last long in stock there anyways. I'm not sure what other places have him. Awesome Collector might, and E-Night Media might also have him. I'm not 100% sure. But this is probably, well, no, actually, we might get a second Kong figure, you know. MonsterArts loves their repaints. But in case they don't, I would pick this guy up because it's probably the best in scale King Kong figure we're gonna get. You know, you can't find the 2005 version anymore because that came out like 100 years ago and it's super overpriced. The NECA King Kong is too big. You know, he's bigger than all the figures I just showed. Here, to get an idea of how big the NECA King Kong is, I'm just gonna bring my pal Custom to Jaguar. This totally isn't an excuse to bring him in, but I would say the NECA King Kong is probably around this guy's height, and just gonna grab the MonsterArts here. This is the MonsterArts Godzilla. Let me just scoot this guy over a little bit and put this guy here. So that's probably around the King Kong from NECA. That's around how tall he is. So yeah, you could make it work with a bit of work, you know, some angle tricks and such. But realistically, they're not really a good match. Hey, stand properly. No, I just gotta slowly slide this guy all the way back to where he was. What was I saying? So yeah, you know, you also have the Mezco as an option, but for the Mezco, he does have some more accessories, I think. The Mezco is also kind of too big though, and the Mezco is 40 bucks, and it's a lot more limited in its articulation. Well, this guy, he's 65 to 67 bucks, depending on where you get him. He's got great articulation as long as it doesn't break on you. He's got a decent amount of accessories, and it's probably the one you want to display with your MonsterArts Godzilla figures anyways. Yeah, he does have a lot of issues though, so I mean, just be aware of that, I guess. Because I do recommend you guys pick this figure up. Again, it's probably the only figure you're gonna get for Kong, and it's actually a pretty solid release from MonsterArts, surprisingly. But that'll be it for today's video. We've gone on way too far. So, leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, do all those wonderful things you guys do, and peace.